Welcome back to the channel. Did you know your credit score isn't just a number? It's a tool banks use to make billions each year? That's right, they make money off your lack of knowledge. But I'm here to change that. Today, I'm going to reveal secrets about your credit score that banks would rather keep hidden. We're going to dive deep into the system, expose the hidden tricks banks use, and arm you with the knowledge to take control of your financial future. Because a strong credit score isn't just about getting approved for loans, it's about getting the best possible rates, saving thousands of dollars in interest, and having the financial freedom to live life on your own terms. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to boost your score faster and outsmart the system. So buckle up, hit that like button, and let's get started. Alright, let's break down this whole credit score thing. Simply put, your credit score is a 3-digit number that tells lenders how trustworthy you are with borrowed money. Think of it like a financial GPA. The higher your score, the less risky you appear to lenders, and the more likely you are to get approved for loans and credit cards with the best terms. Now you might be wondering, how is this score even calculated? Well, there are 5 primary factors that go into it. First up, we have payment history, which accounts for about 35% of your score. This one's pretty straightforward. Paying your bills on time is crucial. Late payments? Yeah, those are gonna hurt. Next is credit utilization, making up around 30% of your score. This refers to how much of your available credit you're actually using. The lower your credit utilization, the better. We'll dive deeper into why this is so important in a bit. The third factor is the length of your credit history, which accounts for about 15% of your score. Basically, the longer you've been managing credit responsibly, the better. Then we have credit mix, making up 10% of your score. This looks at the different types of credit you have, like credit cards, installment loans, and mortgages. And finally, we have new credit, which accounts for the remaining 10%. This looks at how often you're applying for new credit. Now, I know this might seem like a lot to keep track of, but trust me, understanding these factors is key to unlocking a better credit score. So keep watching because things are about to get interesting. Here's the cold, hard truth. Banks profit significantly from people who misunderstand how credit works. They know that a lack of financial literacy often leads to poor credit decisions, and they're more than happy to capitalize on that. Think about it. When you have a low credit score, you're considered a higher risk, right? And what do banks do with higher risk? They charge higher interest rates. It's as simple as that. One of the sneakiest tricks banks use is advertising those tempting low introductory rates on credit cards. They reel you in with a low rate for the first year or so, and then bam, it skyrockets to a much higher rate that you're stuck with. And if you're not careful, those high interest charges can quickly snowball into a mountain of debt. But that's not all. They also love to encourage you to make just the minimum payments on your credit cards. Why? Because it keeps you in debt longer, allowing them to collect more interest over time. It's a vicious cycle that can be tough to break free from. Here's a real-life example. Let's say you're taking out a $300,000 mortgage. With a good credit score of 740, you might snag a 5% interest rate. But with a fair credit score of 620, be prepared to pay closer to 7% or even higher. Over the life of a 30-year mortgage, that difference in interest rates could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Banks know this, and they count on people not realizing the massive impact a lower credit score can have on their finances. But you're not going to be one of them. Stay tuned, because up next, we're going to expose even more secrets banks don't want you to know. Now, let's dive into some of the lesser-known factors that can make or break your credit score. And trust me, these are things that banks don't exactly advertise. First up, we have the credit utilization ratio, which I touched on briefly earlier. This is a big one, folks. It refers to the amount of credit you're using compared to your total available credit. Let's say you've got a credit card with a $10,000 limit, and you've currently got a $5,000 balance. That means your credit utilization ratio is 50%. Now here's the thing. Lenders like to see a credit utilization ratio of 30% or lower. The lower, the better. Why? Because it shows them that you're not maxing out your credit cards and that you're managing your debt responsibly. Another important factor is your credit mix. This refers to the different types of credit accounts you have open. Having a good mix of credit, like credit cards, installment loans, like auto loans or student loans, and mortgages, can actually boost your score. It shows lenders that you can handle different types of debt responsibly. Now, let's talk about credit inquiries. Have you ever noticed that your credit score can drop a few points after applying for a new credit card or loan? That's because of something called a hard inquiry. When you apply for new credit, the lender pulls your credit report to assess your credit worthiness. This hard inquiry can ding your score slightly, but don't worry too much about hard inquiries. Their impact on your score is usually minimal and temporary. Just be mindful of how often you're applying for new credit. On the other hand, soft inquiries, like checking your own credit report or when a potential employer runs a credit check, don't affect your score at all. All right, let's face it. Banks aren't exactly incentivized to help you achieve perfect credit. In fact, they often profit more from people with poor credit. Here's how. First and foremost, as we discussed earlier, they can charge higher interest rates on loans and credit cards to those with lower credit scores. They know these borrowers are statistically more likely to default on their debts, so they offset that risk with higher interest charges. But it doesn't stop there. Banks also love to slap on a whole slew of fees to those with bad credit: late payment fees, overdraft fees, annual fees, balance transfer fees. The list goes on and on. These fees can quickly add up, creating a vicious cycle of debt that can be incredibly difficult to escape. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine two people, both taking out a $10,000 personal loan. Person A has excellent credit and secures a 5% interest rate. Person B, on the other hand, has poor credit and is stuck with a 15% interest rate. Assuming both loans have a 5-year term, Person A will pay around $1,610 in total interest. Person B, a whopping $4,033 in interest. That's more than double the cost for the same loan amount simply because of their credit score. And here's the kicker. Banks know that the longer you stay in debt, the more money they make. So, while they might offer some basic financial education resources, they're not exactly going to hand over the keys to the credit score kingdom. They have a vested interest in keeping you in the dark. But that's where I come in. I'm here to shed light on these tactics and empower you with the knowledge to take control of your financial future. Stay tuned, because next, I'm revealing the secrets banks don't want you to know. All right, it's time to spill the tea and unveil some insider secrets that banks would rather keep hidden. These are the things they don't want you to know because, frankly, it cuts into their profits. Secret number 1, paying off your credit card balances in full each month can significantly boost your credit score. I'm not just talking about making the minimum payment. I'm talking about wiping out that balance entirely. Why does this work so well? Because it lowers your credit utilization ratio, which, as we discussed earlier, is a major factor in your credit score. Plus, it shows lenders that you're responsible with credit and not relying on it to make ends meet. Secret number 2, requesting credit limit increases can actually improve your credit score. Now, this one might sound counterintuitive, but hear me out. When you increase your credit limit, you're lowering your credit utilization ratio without actually paying down any debt. Of course, this doesn't mean you should go on a spending spree. The key here is to use this strategy responsibly. Secret number 3, banks often allow negotiation on fees and interest rates. The problem is, most people never even bother to ask. Whether it's a late payment fee, an annual fee, or even your interest rate, don't be afraid to pick up the phone and negotiate. The worst they can say is no, right? Secret number 4, becoming an authorized user on someone else's credit card account can give your credit score a quick boost. If you have a family member or close friend with good credit, ask them if you can become an authorized user on their account. Their positive credit history will be reflected on your credit report, giving your score a nice little bump. Secret number 5, avoid closing old credit card accounts. I know it can be tempting to close those accounts you don't use anymore, but trust me, it's not always the best move for your credit score. Why? Because closing old accounts shortens your credit history, which makes up a significant portion of your score. All right, now that you're armed with all these insider secrets, let's talk about some practical strategies you can implement right now to start boosting your credit score. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Consistency is key. First up, pay your bills on time. This might seem like a no-brainer, but it's crucial. Set reminders on your phone, automate payments, do whatever it takes to avoid late payments. Next, keep your credit card balances low. Ideally, aim for a credit utilization ratio of 30% or lower on each card. Even better, pay off your balances in full each month if you can. Here's a pro tip. Consider making bi-weekly payments on your credit cards instead of just one monthly payment. This can help lower your credit utilization ratio even further, as your balance will be reported lower throughout the month. Another important step. Regularly monitor your credit report for errors. You'd be surprised how common credit report errors are. You can access your credit report for free once a year from each of the 3 major credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion at annualcreditreport.com. Don't be afraid to dispute any errors you find. It's your right to have an accurate credit report. And finally, be patient. Improving your credit score takes time and effort. There are no overnight fixes. But by implementing these strategies consistently, you'll start to see positive results over time. Let's do a quick recap of everything we've covered today just to make sure it's all crystal clear. We started by understanding what credit scores are, why they matter, and how they're calculated. Then, we dove into the dirty little secrets banks don't want you to know, like how they profit from low credit scores and the hidden tactics they use. We exposed the lesser-known factors that can impact your score, like credit utilization and credit mix. And most importantly, we revealed insider secrets that can help you outsmart the system, like paying off your credit card balances in full each month and negotiating fees and interest rates. Remember, knowledge is power. By understanding how credit scores work and the tactics banks use, you can make informed financial decisions that benefit you, not them. Don't let banks control your financial future. Take charge, implement these strategies, and watch your credit score soar. Remember, your credit score can either cost you thousands or save you thousands. By implementing the secrets you've learned today, you can take control of your credit score and put money back into your pocket. Start using these strategies today and watch as your financial well-being transforms. Comment below. Which secret surprised you the most? Do you have your own credit score success story or struggle? Let's talk. Sharing our experiences can help others on their journey to financial freedom. And hey, if you found value in this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more financial insights that banks don't want you to know. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload, and be sure to share this video with your friends and family. Let's spread the knowledge and help everyone achieve financial success.